Hey, what's up? It's your boy Serrano. Welcome back to another video. Hope all is well. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Xiaomi Redmi 15C and seeing if it's a good smartphone that you could pick up in the US market. So this is actually going to be a globally unlocked smartphone that you can actually use with most carriers in the US as well as internationally. And I definitely think this is going to be a good proposition for most people who are looking to spend under $200. Before actually deciding whether you should pick up this device or not, I'm going to be talking about everything that I have learned about this device over the last couple of weeks that I've been using it with my SIM card inside so you can make a smart purchasing decision. But if you're brand new to the channel, I truly appreciate you for coming through. If you're new, make sure you guys stay locked in to the end of the video. But if you're already a part of the crew, salute. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Hope all is well. So yeah, this is the Redmi 15C. It's a smartphone that you can actually pick up here in the US or internationally as well in the global market. And so yeah, I definitely think that this thing offers a large variety of features that are definitely worth taking a look at. But yeah, I did pick up the Redmi 14C back in November 2024, and after using the Redmi 14C, I definitely wanted to try out the 15C to see if there was any differences or advantages when comparing both smartphones. And so just to say the least, I can definitely say that there are some advantages that I definitely want to go through in this video so we can actually take a look at whether or not you should actually stick with the Redmi 14C or actually upgrade your smartphone to the Redmi 15C. But overall, I definitely found both devices enjoyable when it came to using them on a day-to-day basis. And I definitely can say that these are solid devices if you're not trying to spend a lot of money on a smartphone, but you also want to get a lot of features that both of these smartphones can actually offer you. But overall, you first need to know the main advantages of picking up a budget device over a more expensive flagship device. And that basically has to do with the amount of things that you're going to be doing with your smartphone on a daily basis. And so if cameras or, like high pixel count or even the best display on the market is going to be something that's important for you when it comes to a smartphone, then I definitely think that there's better options. And so yeah, I basically want to talk about whether or not the 15C is worth upgrading and also some of the features that actually stand out when using it when you compare it to a flagship phone. And so yeah, obviously there's going to be advantages and disadvantages when it comes to using a flagship phone over a budget device, but the main purpose of this video is to highlight some of the things that this thing can actually perform and do, and also some of the things that it cannot do so that you can actually make the right buying decision. Now, one of the biggest things for a lot of people when it comes to a smartphone is the daily performance that you're going to be getting on it when it comes to just operating basic tasks like jumping from app to app. And one of the things I noticed about this device is it doesn't have split screen mode or pop-up window. But when it comes to actually gaming performance and being able to handle graphics and stuff like that, this device does actually perform pretty well. It does have that Helio G81 Ultra, like I said before. It's also going to give you a full HD plus display, which is also 6.9 inches. And so when we compare it to the 14C of last year, which only had that 1640 x 720 display, which was basically HD plus, it's definitely going to be a lot brighter and also going to be a lot more clearer when it comes to, graphics and everything like that. It also has 6.9 inches compared to the 6.8 on the 14C. Even though they're pretty much similar in size and everything like that, this one's going to be a little bit wider in the hand. And so yeah, like the 14C, you're going to get 120 hertz refresh rate, but instead of the 240 hertz sampling rate, you're actually going to get 288 touch sampling rate on here. So it does have that 4 gigabytes of RAM on here, which can be expanded up to 8 using the virtual memory. However, I didn't actually expand mine. I just been using it how it came out of the box with 4 gigabytes of RAM. And so this one is going to actually have the 256 gigabytes of internal storage, which is actually nice. It does have a really clean feel when I'm going through the Hyper OS on here, and everything seemed to flow really nicely when it came to jumping from app to app. So when it comes to, you know, daily performance while using this device, there weren't really any stutters or hiccups, but there were some slight delays every now and then. So this phone actually does have the 50 megapixel camera, just like the 14C. It's going to produce some pretty decent images on this device as well. And so you're going to be getting 1.8 auxiliary camera on the rear. It's also going to be able to record in 1080 30 frames per second. And so overall, I didn't have any issues when it came to portraits, as well as even some nighttime shots when using the camera on the rear. And so another thing I wanted to mention about the 15C is that you're actually going to get 700 nits brightness, but it actually peaks at 850 nits, whereas on the 14C from last year, it gave you 450 nits, but then it maxed out only at 600. So yeah, you're definitely going to get a brighter display on the 15C. And so just like the 14C from last year, this one is made to promote eye health when it comes to the display. So it's giving you a flicker-free certification as well as low blue light. And it also does have that circadian friendly certification as well, so that when you're looking at the display, even at nighttime or during the daytime, it's not going to affect your sleep. And so yeah, I don't hear a lot of reviewers ever talking about eye health when it comes to displays, but one of the main things that's awesome about budget displays is that they're mainly a lower resolution, so it's more friendly on the eyes for long-term viewing and watching content, so that when you're looking at the display, it's not going to be as bright, but you'll still be able to see everything. And so yeah, I just feel like it's for people who have sensitive eyes like myself, this is definitely a better solution than actually buying a phone that has a flagship Super AMOLED panel. And so yeah, I get it. The bright displays with the Super AMOLED panel and the sharp details and colors sell really well and get a lot of phones in people's pockets year over year. And yeah, I definitely like looking at those sharp displays with high resolution and, you know, peak brightness at 3000 nits and everything like that. But yeah, it's not really necessary and a little bit overkill, especially when it comes to protecting your eyes. But just to say less, yeah, what I'm really trying to say is that 850 nits peak brightness outdoors was plenty bright for me in any situation when using this device. So I never had to worry about not being able to see the display when I was in an outdoor situation when using it. And so yeah, I definitely like the fact that it's flicker free, has that circadian friendly certification on this, as well as also really
So this
good
is the
viewing
front-facing
angles.
camera on the Redmi 15C. Let me know what you guys think about the quality right now.
And so another thing I noticed is that this thing does have a time-lapse mode, but it doesn't have a slow motion mode on here. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you do use slow motion mode, you will have to use some type of editing software to slow down the video. All right, so let's talk about one of the main things that I really was drawn to about this device, and that has to do with the battery. So yeah, this thing has a 33 watts charger in the box. And so yeah, you're gonna get 33 watts fast charging on this device compared to the 18 watts of last year. And so yeah, that's going to be pretty much double when it comes to the speeds of charging it with the Type-C cable that they have in there, as well as the case that they provide too. It also has a screen protector, just in case you wanted to know that. But yeah, one of the most important things is that the battery life is going to get you through more than a day. And so yeah, you won't get battery anxiety, especially when using this device as well. So it does have a 6,000 milliamp per hour battery compared to the 5150 of last year. So yeah, they definitely amped up the battery a little bit more. They gave it faster charging as well. And so yeah, those two things when it comes to the battery department definitely would constitute an upgrade if you're looking for better battery life. All right, so let's talk build quality for a second. So this thing is made of plastic material. I'm not sure what the glass is actually made of, but it has a volume rocker up top, power button on the others beneath it. Then on the other side, you get your SIM card remover tool with dual SIM slots as well as SD support on here. You also do get a headphone jack as well as a microphone on the bottom and a single firing speaker. So yeah, it's not going to be dual speakers, and this thing will lack NFC as well, in case that you wanted to know that. But yeah, for the most part, the build quality feels really solid. It doesn't have huge chin or forehead either, so the bezels are pretty much very minimal, and it's going to give you a large surface area to work with when you're watching content, especially watching media on this. So yeah, it has some really good software as well. So with the lack of the split screen and the freeform window, like the pop-up window, you know, this thing still will have a really huge surface area to work with. And so I think it's going to be pretty good if you're using the recent apps and you just, you know, switch from app to app that way. But I just wanted to throw out there that it will
right
be
now I'm
missing
recording
the
on the
pop-up window
Redmi
and the split screen.
15C. The sun already basically set, so this is just to give you an idea of what the quality looks like at dusk. And I'll start walking so you could actually see what it looks like while I'm holding the camera. No gimbal, just in my hand. And this thing goes up to 6x zoom on video as well as photos, so this should give you an idea of what it looks like while I'm walking. You can see we get some pretty good detail here on the zoom.
So you actually get 6x zoom when it comes to video. And so you can see right here, it does a pretty decent job of, you know, mapping out the image and giving it, you know, definition without, you know, adding too much grain to the overall clarity of the image while retaining some of the detail here. Okay, so let's quickly summarize. The Xiaomi Redmi 15C has basically everything you need. It's got an immersive 6.9-inch display, up to 120 Hertz refresh rate with adaptive sync. It's got some pretty powerful processing speed as well if you want to game, which also offers some consistency and smooth performance. However, there will be a couple of pauses every now and then when playing PUBG. It's also going to offer you Google Gemini on board, as well as the 50 megapixel dual camera, as well as a super large 6,000 milliamp hour battery, which is going to last you more than a day. And then that, you know, really large, beefy 33-watt charging brick inside of the box that they also include as well. You're also going to be getting a headphone jack as well as SD card support. What more could we really ask for on a budget phone? But let me know what you guys think about the Redmi 15C. If you're still here, just type down below in the comment section. I'm still here, so I know you're still kicking it with me. And I just want to remind you to hit the like button so we can get this video out to more people and help beat the YouTube algorithm. I'm going to hit you back though. I'll check you guys later. Namaste.